Hi, welcome to Car Mechanical and welcome to the third instalment of this week's top 10 eBay cars. So the rules for this are it needs to be interesting, a potential investment, something to avoid, or just something fun. So the first car we're going to look at, this car is actually quite a documented car online. I was really shocked when I found this in my searches. So let's click on some of the bigger pictures for this one. So this is a scratch build Zonda replica. And it's been built with an Audi engine, and it's got a twin turbo setup on it. It's got a mega square ECU, and it's made to pay homage or to look like a Zonda R. I'm not going to get too much into how it is and how it operates and stuff. It's currently got bids of, sorry, it's got no bids. It's currently up for £2,000 as the starting bid. And I'm featuring it A because it's interesting. I might put some links to the stories below, but what is interesting on this is the work that's gone into it. If you got this for £2,000, you're probably getting way over £2,000 worth of parts. The KO3, KO4 hybrids are probably worth it. I'm not sure about the body, but if we look at the interior, there's probably a decent amount that you can get out of some of the seats, some of the I think it's got a Lotus Elise windscreen, so you can take that out if you're going to part it. The gauge pods and everything, the gearbox. If you were to treat this for parts, you might get your money back, or if you did want to finish it. But this one popped up and I thought it was quite interesting. I believe the owner of this, he did get this over to Dubai to be able to use it on the road. Personally, it's not to my choosing, but I do think the project is quite interesting. Okay, and the second car is a Toyota Sora, and it's not this particular one, although this is actually quite a nice example. It's £3,000, it's very clean, perhaps too clean for how I like to take a car on. I like a bit of a project, but these are a 3.9 litre V8, it's the 1UZ engine. It's 3.9 litre, but it's classed as a 4. They are automatic, but I think this could be really interesting if you were to manual swap them, or if you were just to keep it as a tourer with a bit of a grunt. And then this one's being sold by a sort of trader, which is why you've got all the AA badging over it. But I thought it was fairly interesting, and I've seen ones leading up to this video that have sold for £1,000. Unfortunately, the way eBay listings work, even when I've queued them up, I go to refresh them or pull them back up and it just won't show it again. So there are Soras out there from £1,000. They're not going to be in a good condition this is. But if you want something to work with, that's what you can start with. Okay, the third car is a Land Rover Discovery, and this is going to be more of a general with Land Rover Discoveries. This is not for this one in particular, although it does appear to be quite clean. In the list, and it says it is fairly clean. Let's get some bigger pictures. And with the Land Rover Discoveries, this is going to be sort of an area where I'm going to say there's a big thing to be cautious with Land Rover Discoveries, and it's rust. Probably shouldn't surprise you. If you know of Land Rovers, you probably know that they can rust out. So Land Rovers are known to rust out, but one of the big problems with them is exactly where they rust. It's not an easy repair. So the early ones tended to have issues with the body on the Mark 1, and the Mark 2s tend to have issues with the chassis. Now, I've known of friends Land Rover Discovery who the chassis rails were rusting on, and basically it made a really nice Discovery, really nice on the inside, really nice on the outside, but because the chassis was rusting, it meant that it was going to separate from the body, and it made the car pretty much worthless. So if you are looking at a Land Rover Discovery, it's one of the few times I'll probably say it's worth paying to go and get it inspected, have a mechanic look over it, or if you're mechanically inclined yourself, get under there or get it on ramps and just look for the rust. You don't want to be investing anything into something that's going to fail its next MOT. Okay, and the fourth car is a Jensen Interceptor. Now this one will probably be a bit of an investment and a bit of something that needs reworking, but you see the prices of these going for quite a bit. So this is a numbers matching car, it says in the listing, and you don't see many of these around, and this is one of the better Jensens that I've seen. And yes, it does need sort of bits and pieces doing to it, but I've seen absolute rust buckets go for horrendous amounts. So there is quite a bit of passion with these, and there is a market for them to be sold. As we look down below the listing, we can see there's Interceptors there sort of going for 33, some a bit cheaper. So there is money in these, and it'll be interesting to see what these go for in a few years time, and I wonder what this one particular would go for if it was fully restored and back on the road. Now the fifth car is a Peugeot 406 Coupe. This particular one's a 2 litre, but they do make them in 3 litre variants as well, and this one's just more of an example because this was the only one I could find on eBay that was an entire car. So although it's cheap, I thought these would be interesting because of there aren't as many left out there, and they do have a very unique shape. So the 406 Coupe was designed by Pininfarina, who are also known for working on Alfas and Ferrari. And if we just sort of have a look, I think it's, you know, a very sleek looking car. Now, they are four-wheel drive, but they did make them with a 200 horsepower 3-litre V6. It will be Peugeot build quality over sort of some of the other cars are out there, but I think they are probably nice touring cars, and they're the basis of what people use for Ferrari 430 conversions when they're making their kit cars. So I think maybe a few have disappeared under that, but I think that's quite a nice looking car. And I would probably hedge some bets on, as they disappear, that the value on these start to go up in the future. Not because it's a Peugeot, not because it's got the 3-litre, but because of the Pininfarina badge, which we can just about see down there. I think that these will go up in value given time. Okay, car number 6. I got sent this one's a link from a friend. It's a Lada Niva. It's a left-hand drive and it's a 4x4. I don't think it's road legal at all, but these actually sort of have some pedigree in rallying, so I've been told. And this actually looks like it's quite fun. So if you had the means to transport this around to sort of grassroots motorsports, and literal grassroots motorsports, I think you could have a bit of a laugh with this. So really cheap at the moment, it's £124. I think I've got it on watch. I'll be interested to see what that does finish for. And it's just kind of interesting. It's sort of said, it looks like it needs to be reconditioned to be put back on the grass, so to speak. But I think that's actually quite a fun, interesting little car. Someone's bought something back as a project, and for whatever reason, they've either used it for a bit or they're moving it on. But yeah, you could have sort of an all-wheel drive off-road little fun toy. If you have a farm, family member's got a farm, or you've got somewhere you can go and run it, that could be a cheap little laugh. Okay, car number 7 is a Honda Accord Type R. Now, I had an Accord a few years ago. I bought a 2-litre Accord. It was 150 horsepower and it was £400, and it's one of the best cars I've ever owned. I ended up selling it to get a diesel when I had to work longer distances for a job, but these are amazing cars. I've not driven a Type R yet, but if it's any improvement over the 150 horsepower that I had, this will be so much better. Basically, I just found it was a very well put together car. It was very comfortable. The quality of the interior was very good. The way it would handle sort of over long sweeping roads was fantastic, and I've heard amazing things of these. And I think for the current price that they are, they've actually kind of turned a corner on the pricing. I've seen a point where these drop below £1,000, and this is actually one of the cheaper examples at the moment, with others above sort of 2,000 and 3,000. So they're 210 horsepower, they're 2.2 litre VTEC, and this one looks fairly well looked after. It does look like the engine bay could do with a little care and attention, but given the age of it, I'm sure that this is absolutely fine. I just kind of want to put out that I think the Honda Accord, the Type R, is a good purchase, and it's very understated, but then again, I'm a big fan of super saloons. Okay, car number 8. Although it's a RX-8, and although it's got an Audi engine, both of which things that I really like, this won't be one that I'll be buying. So this has got a 4.2 litre Audi V8 in it, and it could be sort of a cheap parts car for someone for the various bits that are already in there. However, probably a couple of issues if you did want to complete this project. Now, although the guys over at, I think it's Bod Rides, have got the RX-8 project with a Cummins diesel in it, that's not a roadworthy car, and this looks like it's got quite a bit that's left to be done to it. So in the description, it's been mentioned it's got an adapter plate to fit it to the RX-8 MX-5 gearbox. Now, I don't think that thing's going to last at all. I think the torque that's going to put that through will smash it to bits pretty quickly. I don't think the MX-5 gearbox are meant to be up to much. I am fully aware of that for the conversion that I'm looking to do on my FD, but I'm looking to use the Renesas engine, and I'm looking to keep the power under 300 horsepower. But I thought this was a sort of an interesting project. It's got 4 days left to go. It's at £400. There's probably in excess of a couple of grand's worth of parts here. I think again this is one of those, like I say, if you are going to finish it, just remember you're going to have to register it, you're going to have to get it through emissions on MOTs and everything like that. But I think it's a pretty cool project, see what happens to it. Okay, car number 9, it's almost like me sharing one of my secrets here. Lotuses can be really, really cheap. They're some of the typically less desirable shapes. But I've seen Lotuses trading hands on eBay for under £1,000 and under £2,000, like this one's currently got bids for. So it tends to be the Eclat and the Excel. They're not the iconic ones, but you can parts bin them with Ford bits, and you could probably bring these back to life fairly easily. Okay, let's step that back. You could probably bring these back to life fairly reasonably, and the cost and the bits and pieces you can get out there from other cars, it's not going to be too bad, because everything's from other cars anyway, and because I think they've typically got fiberglass bodies and everything, you've not got the issues with rust, or you might do on a chassis. But I think these could be interesting projects, and I think these will go up in the future because there's not so many of them, and they've got a very unique kind of image to them. I think that's going to become desirable down the line. So my feature here is this particular 2.2 litre Eclat. I think that's going to end over £2,000. Let's stick it on my watch list so I can find out. I'm still trying to work out the best way to maybe update these listings retrospectively so you can look down to see what they do end at. But yeah, I think Lotuses are one of the big secrets of a classic car that can go cheaply, that needs money spending on it. But when you look at what the prices of the Esprit are doing, things like the Europa, even the Elan, which is none there, they're all going sort of for 5-10 plus, and I think you can have one of these on the road for under 3. Okay, last but not least is the 106 GTI. So this is a spares or repairs example, and potentially this could be a good buy. It needs some things sorting on it, but I'm more bringing this up to look at the 106 GTI itself, or the 106 Rally E, and that's an awful looking sway bar. But basically I think that these are going to go up much more in value. I've already been shocked to see that they are trading hands between 1 and 2,000. Just a couple of years ago, I think even within the last 12 months, I was seeing 106 GTIs for under £1,000, for like £500, and they're now starting to trade hands for really good money. I think restored and kept as they should be, these will go for quite a bit. So a 106 GTI is quite interesting. It's a 120 horsepower car, and they weigh 950 kilos. Or you've also got the 106 Rally E, and they weighed 865 kilos. However, they did only have 103 horsepower. But I think that's where you get into it with the 106s. You can either go for the genuine GTI or the Rally E, or you could get sort of a normal 106 and start doing a few bits and pieces to it to make it lightweight if you wanted to, and swap any of the kind of modern engines in. You'd have something really quick. Price wise, I think 106 GTIs are going to perform well. They already are. I've already been surprised, and again it comes into there's less of them on the road. They've all been sort of crashed, they start rusting out, people start scrapping them for maintenance reasons because they get too expensive, and that's when you start to see the curve go up on them. Okay guys, that's it for this installment of my top 10 eBay picks. Be interested to hear your comments and feedback down below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. If you know anyone you think would find these videos interesting, please remember to share them, and more than anything, thank you for watching.